Well, yes, we have caution tape here at the farm. Now, you may be saying farm. I didn't know you had a farm because, well, I haven't really posted much about the tree farm. Way back, I don't even know, probably a year or so ago, I had posted about the Christmas trees we had planted. So this is our third year of being a Christmas tree farm. Happens to be our first year that we were selling. And it's been a huge, huge roller coaster. So as I walk through this field here, we have sold a few trees. We really didn't push it this year because it's our first year that I had some trees ready. So I didn't really want to push it. I didn't push much advertising out. Really didn't do any other than my Facebook actual personal page. And I did put one post on one of the community forums, but I didn't do much else than that for a few different reasons. For one, we didn't have a lot of trees ready this year. And some trees we've had issues with. As you can see this one. We've had tons of issues with deer, which is why you happen to see all of that tape over there, which we'll get to here in just a bit. But I could say that, we've learned. We're learning. And it has definitely been a huge undertaking to really grow these things and try to understand them, because I haven't given them the time that I probably should have as much as I need to, which is all going to change because I feel like after this year, what little bit we've sold and stuff, and what people come by and say, I feel like I really want to focus in on this. This is not going to be a full-time job, and I'll say I've lost some focus with it because of YouTube, because it has, become a monetized thing for me between regular work, YouTube, trying to stay, a family man as much as I can, and throwing this back on there has definitely been, it's been a challenge. But now I really want to focus in. My daughter's getting older. I say older, she's 3.5. But, next year, I may get her over here helping me with stuff. She wanted to come this time, this year. We've been open for 2 weekends now. And it's just been a little cold for her right now. I'm trying to still figure out the whole process of this. We're lacking a few things, which I knew I was lacking going to it this year. One is a shaker. We're in the process of building that. I just didn't get it built in time because I couldn't afford a $2,300, whatever the shakers cost. Had enough stuff at the shop to make one with it. Just having the time to make it's a whole other thing. But we've got that we're working on. We've got I do have a netting machine. I say a machine, a thing to do netting with, but I haven't got the netting. That stuff's been expensive, so I was really trying to get my feet wet this year and see if I would have, with the few people that come out, what I would actually have. And honestly, I've been kind of quite surprised. I mean, we've sold, not a ton of trees. Definitely not a ton of trees. We've sold a few trees, but it at least helps me with the process. So as we grow and I realize I have more trees, because hopefully next year we're going to have, hopefully, this issue you see here figured out, along with what has caused this issue, which that right there is an old tree wound from a deer, which let's go talk about that over here, because that's why you see all of this caution tape. Now, some of you be saying, that's retarded, that's not going to work. I got to do something. They hit these trees a while back. They really haven't messed with them much this year. We have like 1 or 2 trees that did get hit this year, but over here has been a different story. And seeing as I don't have unlimited funds, I'm pretty tight on what I could spend on. And so that's why we have caution tape and T-post. So this year over here, just recently, we have been getting hit pretty hard with the deer. And I haven't been wanting to hunt them, but I could tell you it's really changing really, really fastly. My thoughts on it, at least the bucks. I mean, this tree is an old one from last year that got rubbed and knocked out. We've got This is another rub from last year. I did go ahead and mark it this year just to keep an eye on it. And really, I mean, I know for a fact that one was rubbed previous. But we've been hit, especially down in this corner. We've been hit pretty darn hard. I mean, some of these trees can, you know, I could probably make a comeback with. I've had a few that I've been able to get to come back to an extent. But once they've been rubbed, like this one is probably going to be okay for the most part. I mean, we've got some wounds in there. I think we're probably maybe going to be okay with this one. This one I'm going to, really, this one's probably going to have to be cut down and much shorter, because I'm pretty sure everything from here up on this limb is going to be gone. So I may have to start trying to reshape that one. This one, I mean, it's, you know, these are pretty well, they're looking pretty rough. Now, I will say this one, I mean, he got the bark off of it, so all that's going to dry out. All that's probably going to die. But it keeps going on. We've got trees upon trees that have been rubbed, and it's just very aggravating. Because this happens really quickly. It happens pretty quick. They've come through and just annihilate. And, you know, we're in the process of clearing more land, because what you see is, you know, that field over there was my very first field that I ever planted. It was a small field, 222 trees. This field was 268 when we planted it. My goal is I'd like to have 500 trees a year ready to sell. Realistically, I'm going to sell that many? No. But, you know, I would like to get to a few hundred sales is what I would like to get to. And we got to clean more land out, which you may be able to tell. It's been brush cutting quite a bit, which you guys have seen the video on the cheap brush cutter we got from the auction. It has been doing fabulous. But my dad did happen to tear it up pretty good. But that was not because of the machine's fault. He happened to hit one of our heavy-duty augers that was hidden in the grass in a spot that he shouldn't have been cutting in. And what it did is it broke the bolt for the blade, slung the blade out, and put a hole, which I'll put a picture of that stuff up here. Here's some more of these trees that have just been rubbed to death. So, anyway, he put a hole through the side of that plate, which is like 3/8 plate. Blade come flying out of it. Luckily, nobody got hurt. Nothing got damaged besides the brush cutter. So, it had been doing great. We're fixing it now to try to get back, because we've got to get a lot of that land over there cleared out for next year. Well, not for next year. Within the next couple months. So, I want to be planting. It's December. We're talking, you know, I had planted these back in November, is when I always planted these. And I didn't make that planting this year. For one, wasn't ready because of the land and the time over there. But two, you know, it still costs money to buy the trees. And I can assure you, with what we sold this year, I definitely, you know, it has definitely so far been a losing adventure. We have lost, you know, there's not sales right now. But I don't have the trees either yet. These trees are still, most of these are still, you know, kind of along the smaller side of things for what people want. Most people want 8-footers, 7-8 footers. And I need to get these, while I may let them get a little bit taller, you know, they're 6-7 foot range now, a lot of them, but I got to get them to fill out more. I got to get them to push out more. So we're going to try to get that hopefully going to where they'll get a little bit bigger this year and have a little bit nicer of a tree. I mean, we still got some good trees that are in here that, you know, I figure somebody's going to eventually take, but today is going to be our last day over here, at least unless somebody calls and wants something, which actually I probably need to go make my phone number up and put on the sign out front. Actually, you know, I didn't even think about that, because I haven't even moved the sign out by the road. And been busy doing this fence, you know, trying to keep the deer out, to keep from killing my profits so much. But we, back to the whole thing. This has been, I knew it was going to take a while to sell trees. 3 to 4 years is what, and like I said, we're 3 years into this. But there's a lot of things that I haven't done that we are going to start changing and doing, just because I've learned some stuff. So, we're going to have hopefully next year, we're going to have some good trees available and have a lot of good trees available. So I've got UGA. The extension came out Friday, and we took some samples of the soil because I've never had the soil tested at all. So I don't have no clue what it's like. I was talking to them because at one time, pretty much most of this was pretty much wooded. There was like a little section over here. The driveway was pretty much here, but a little section on each side where there was like a container. And other than that, it had been pretty much wooded. So, they're like, yeah, we need a test. More than likely, it's really acidic with the trees you've got here, with all the pine trees. They love it. So we're going to find that out. Hopefully get that corrected this year. We also are going to be doing better management of basically the ground. So something I didn't want to really get into because I really kind of wanted to keep more natural trees. I was trying not to use so much sprays on them, fungicides, pesticides, and then the stuff on the ground. I was really trying not to spray that, keep from getting on the trees. But what I have learned is that you're really going to have to. We started spraying fungicides, which I thought, that's what we were having going on here with some fungicide stuff with a few of these trees. And, I still don't know the answer to that. We're going to know that this coming week when UGA comes out. Not the extension, but actually guy that, works on Christmas trees. We're going to find that stuff out. He can at least give me an idea of what's going on with these trees. I have sent him a few pictures of some of these trees, and he has stated that, they are savable. So that gives me a little hope, but I'm not going to lie. I took some trees up back there. I took probably about 10 trees out of that back. Well, maybe more than that I went and plucked out because they looked so bad, and I was scared that it was going to progress to the next tree. But hopefully we're going to get all these things straightened out. Next year we'll have some good ones. But this deer thing, that's the whole problem, or the whole reason I have all this up. Whether or not it's going to work, it may not, but it's at least my poor man's method of trying to hopefully solve it. I think I'm going to get some tin cans out here as well and try to make them clank, put them on the middle, or maybe they'll clank around and hopefully scare them off. Doubt it's going to happen, but we'll see. I'm trying something. It's I don't know. It's been a crazy first year, but we've only been open. That's the other crazy thing is it seems like, I didn't open before Thanksgiving. I opened that Friday of Thanksgiving, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then technically this Friday, I wasn't really going to be open. I did make a sale while I was here. I was here with UGA going over stuff. And yesterday was a rough day yesterday. Just rain. We did have some people come out. A couple. I think we sold a tree or two yesterday. And which it was just nasty. And today we don't have rain, but it is muddy. Luckily, most of the grass, keeps that part pretty good. But, when you get back here to where I've got my little shed, which, you can see it gets a little muddy. That's why I've actually parked up here to kind of work and stuff, so I'm not walking in it. But my little shed back there has been, that's been my little selling venture. That's where I picked that thing up for $200. And, had it moved here, it cost me more to move it. It cost me $400 to move it here, which wasn't bad. I ain't complaining. But I've been selling out of that. And I got a few little ornaments, stuff like that. I've got another building that was on the property that when we bought it, the guy had built, and he'd been letting it sit for the longest time without a roof on it. And I just hadn't had the time. I put windows in it. I put the door in it, but there was still a big opening at the front. He had let, the way he'd built it, the floor has rotted out almost a lot of it, the way it was done. So I'm having to work on all that. We're going to get it fixed up because eventually I'm going to make that the selling lot, the selling store. I've got some grand visions of this place. It's just getting it there. That's the problem, you know. It takes money. It takes time more than anything, because you have to have a product to sell, and you have to have enough for people to come out. So it's an adventure, but we got people pulling in. I'm gonna end this video off here. I will come back and talk to y'all later. I appreciate y'all for watching. See you then.